Hey, welcome to Let's Make Miracles.
I'm Alex, and
I'm Jen.
we're working through the Course in Miracles over the course of an entire year.
Yeah.
Welcome back, friends. Today we're on Lesson 19. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. Alex, would you like to start off with your interpretation?
Well, not really.
Okay. I feel like this is very similar to Lesson 18's, which is I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. I feel like it is, the reason it's very similar is because instead of, it being what you see, it's what you think. And it's a little bit deeper only because it's talking about you manifest how you think.
Mm-hmm.
Where the other one is, I don't know. It's a little deeper.
Okay. Maybe I should go ahead and read the thing.
Read it.
Yeah. Lesson 19. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. The idea for today is obviously the reason why your seeing does not affect you alone. You will notice that at times the ideas related to thinking precede those related to perceiving, while at other times the order is reversed. The reason is that the order does not matter. Thinking and its results are really simultaneous, for cause and effect are never separate. Today we are again emphasizing the fact that minds are joined. This is rarely a wholly welcome idea at first, since it seems to carry with it an enormous sense of responsibility, and may even be regarded as an invasion of privacy. Yet it is a fact that there are no private thoughts. Despite your initial resistance to this idea, you will yet understand that it must be true if salvation is possible at all, and salvation must be possible because it is the will of God. The minute or so of mind-searching which today's exercises require is to be undertaken with eyes closed. The idea for today is to be repeated first, and then the mind should be carefully searched for thoughts it contains at that time. As you consider each one, name it in terms of the central person or theme it contains, and holding it in your mind as you do so, say, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of this thought about blank. The requirement of as much indiscriminateness as possible in selecting subjects for the practice periods should be quite familiar to you by now, and will no longer be repeated each day, although it will occasionally be included as a reminder. Do not forget, however, that random selections of subjects for all practice periods remains essential throughout. Lack of order in this connection will ultimately make the recognition of lack of order in miracles meaningful to you. Apart from the as-needed application of today's idea, at least 3 practice periods are required, shortening the length of time involved if necessary. Do not attempt more than 4.
So, with this lesson, I feel like it may have more of like a hive mind theme to it, where, you know how like if one person thinks this way, it'll end up attracting other people that think that way. That's why sometimes it's really important for people to be conscious of who they hang out with, because you can be influenced by other people's personalities and thoughts and emotions. And it doesn't say that a thought can just be stuck in the head. Thoughts can be verbalized also. And I feel like this could be part of what he's trying to explain. That you're not alone in experiencing a certain thought. So, like, if you don't like mushrooms, you may verbally say you don't like mushrooms.
I like mushrooms.
Alright. If you don't like coffee, you may
don't like coffee.
And verbally express that you don't like coffee. You may find other people who don't like coffee also.
No, I've never found anyone else who doesn't like coffee.
Really? I know somebody who doesn't like coffee. So see, like, I'm not alone in experiencing the effect of that thought. the thought that you don't like coffee, because I know exactly somebody else. He also doesn't like coffee in the same way that you don't like coffee. He likes the smell. He doesn't like the taste. He can get like a foo-foo-y drink from Starbucks, like his wife will give that to him, and he'll just taste the coffee right away. He just doesn't like the bitterness. It's gross to him. And so you have expressed that same thing to me of how you don't like that particular flavor and have gone into detail. And you weren't alone in experiencing the effect of that thought. It's transformed itself onto me, and somehow I manifested somebody else with that same little quirk about not liking coffee in that same way. That's the best I can reach and grasp for with this lesson, is being able to tie it into something like that.
Well,
I think it's just making you conscious of, your thoughts, other people's thoughts, and like if you know they behave a certain way, maybe distance yourself a little bit from them or they think a certain way.
no, I don't think that's what he's going
Or
for.
just okay, well.
I think what he's going for is he's trying to slowly introduce the idea that there's no separation between your mind and everyone else's mind.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of what I was saying. Like, there's not a separation, even though...
Well, you can't distance yourself from something you're not separate from.
Yes, but because there is no separation, do you really want to hang out with somebody whose thoughts may not be beneficial to your goals or to your life?
From my perspective, no. But I don't think that's what he's saying. I don't think that's what he's going for.
Maybe. I don't know yet. I haven't read that far.
Yeah.
I personally, from just reading this, it makes me aware of other people's thoughts can influence how my reality is. Here's another, I'm not alone in experiencing, my thoughts. I'm not alone in this experience. Is, I don't know how many people that I have met that are crazy about cats. And, I know that I must emit some type of, I love cat energy. Because I will find other cat owners and we'll, huddle together. Anything else you would like to add?
No. I mean, it seems like the language is getting a bit more religious.
Yeah.
They're starting to, at least. But
what would you like to say about that?
Nothing. I think it was just a choice to do this in order to attract the more religiously minded people.
I think it will help them feel more comforted.
Yeah.
This is a hard topic to understand if you're not coming from a mindset that like we are or some of our other viewers. If you're not used to... This seems very familiar with me from some of my Zen studies, some of the Buddhist studies that we listen to at some of the temples. So... it's not too far off from me. But not everybody is Buddhist or has this Zen mindset. So I agree that it's helpful.
Yeah. I was just noticing the increase in phrases like the will of God and...
Well, let's break down the will of God then. Because I feel like some other people who are listening may have a bit of a problem trying to understand the will of God.
Why?
Well, so before I became spiritual and before I became Buddhist, or I don't know what I'm calling myself, spiritual Buddhist, I guess, I had a problem with the word God. And that word will still kind of like trip me up sometimes, just because I was burned in the past by religion, so that's a really touchy, not literally. I see your face and you look concerned. I just had trouble in the past with religion and with the concept of God and other concepts, but mainly with God. It seems to be a trigger word that brings up a sort of feeling within me. And I know other people have issues with the word God. So if we go and describe what he's trying to say, the will of God, and translate it to an easier topic, maybe it'll be helpful to other listeners. So like, instead of will of God, maybe it means like the power of divine, or the power of the universe, or something gentler than the will of God.
I'm not sure what you could replace that with in this and make it make sense in this context.
So he's saying,
The divine plan, maybe.
okay, so despite your initial resistance to this idea, you will yet understand, and it must be true if salvation is possible at all. So salvation of trying to free your mind from
Illusion.
illusion. Okay.
Yes. But because your mind is part of the divine, eventually it will be free of illusion.
Okay. Yeah, so like let's give it like a Zen interpretation of it. Just
A Zen interpretation?
yeah, and that's freeing your mind of illusion. And to free your mind of illusion, it must be possible because you're a part of the divine.
I guess so. I don't know how that's Zen, though.
Well, it's a more spiritual
Okay.
way of thinking. It's less religious, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
I know it's pretty much the same thing. It's just,
Can I ask you a question?
yes.
Do you know what Zen means?
Okay, so kind of. You mentioned the last day of our Qigong practice over in St. Pete, and he was doing a Zen exercise with us, correct? Sifu.
Mostly, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what we were doing is we were ridding ourselves of all thought and just feeling and being with the divine
Right.
and experiencing that joy.
Mm-hmm.
That is Zen. And that is what I was trying to translate part of this lesson 19 into. That's what I was comparing with the Zen mindset. Is
Okay.
freeing your mind from illusion and being with the divine.
Okay.
It may not be like the traditional Zen, so other people may have other interpretations, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
What
Yeah.
else would you like to add about Zen? Because I can feel your "that's not right"
No.
alarm going off
I don't really have anything to add.
about
Zen.
other Zen
Zen.
teachers.
Zen just refers to that state.
To being with the divine and free of illusion.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the only thing it refers to.
Well, I feel like that's helpful to mention that's Zen, that
Yeah.
what he's describing is Zen. Because people who
Right.
aren't of a religious background will have problems with religious text sometimes, or just having some religious stuff put in there. It's a bit of a block for them, and they won't fully get this lesson 19.
If they're having a problem with religion, why bring another one in?
I don't know. I just feel like I had a problem with religion, but I was okay with Buddhism. It didn't really feel like a religion. It felt more like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that felt more gentler to me. And then I was able to work on my hiccups with
It's probably
religion.
It's probably only felt like that because you're comparing to me and probably Sifu.
I didn't know seafood at that time.
Oh yeah. But there's some real religious
Oh, yeah.
attitudes in the Buddhist community.
Sifu was mentioning the concept of God and was saying, you know, let God's energy heal you. And at that time, I didn't have a hiccup. I was more giggly, if anything, than the Chifo. But yeah, I mean, it's all about how far along you are spiritually with your spiritual development. And if it's easier for people to be able to get this lesson by just retranslating it to something gentler, I'm all for that. It's the same thing. It's just worded differently.
Yeah.
Like, there's different ways to say I love you in different languages, but they all mean I love you. Aloha.
Well, goodbye to you too.
You can't argue, so I just said bye. Alright guys, we'll see you back for lesson 20.
Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us on our Facebook group, Let's Meet Miracles, or on our Instagram pages at Zenfully Ever After and Heart Lotus Guru.
If you could give us a review in iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts, that would really help us be more visible to more people.
Thanks.